On December 29, 2025, the PLA Eastern Theater Command launched Justice Mission 2025, deploying 130 aircraft and 28 warships across 5 maritime zones encircling Taiwan within a single 24-hour window, with live-fire rocket artillery landing just 24 nautical miles off the island's coast. It was the most aggressive Chinese military encirclement of Taiwan since 2022. What happened inside the Pentagon in the hours that followed has not been fully explained, but the internal alert posture shift it triggered is something U.S. defense officials say has not occurred in decades. What happened in the 24 hours after Justice Mission 2025 did not end with the last PLA sortie returning to base. That is the detail most coverage missed entirely. The 5 declared exercise zones spanned the waters north of Keelung, east of Taitung, south of Pingtung, southwest of Penghu, and the Taiwan Strait corridor from northwest of Taoyuan to Matsu, a geometric encirclement with no open corridor left uncontested. The exercise zones were positioned significantly closer to Taiwan's main island than those of any previous exercise. That compression matters. It is not symbolic. It means the reaction window for any defending force or any intervening ally shrinks in direct proportion to how tight the ring becomes. The aircraft involved included J-20 stealth fighters, J-16 multi-role strike aircraft, and H-6K strategic bombers equipped with YJ-12 supersonic anti-ship cruise missiles. The J-20 testing air superiority capabilities, while the H-6Ks simulated precision strikes on high-value island targets and maritime strike missions against potential intervention fleets east of the first island chain. Electronic warfare variants flew alongside, providing electromagnetic suppression to facilitate the complex joint operations. This was not a show of force. It was a rehearsal with specific targets and specific kill chains being tested in real time. Justice Mission 2025 produced several firsts among PLA exercises, including the closest live-fire exercise to date and the first deployment of a Type 075 amphibious assault ship in a joint exercise around Taiwan. A formation of 4 amphibious assault ships operated to the east and southeast of Taiwan, the exact quadrant where U.S. carrier-based intervention would arrive first. Positioning amphibious assets there is not defensive posturing. It is a rehearsal for sealing that corridor. The global stakes underneath that maneuver are not abstract. Taiwan's semiconductor output accounts for the majority of the world's most advanced chips. A credible blockade of the ports Beijing explicitly named as drill targets, with the island's energy facilities, major ports, and military bases treated as targets during the exercise, would halt that supply within days, not weeks. Every major economy on Earth runs on what moves through those facilities. The U.S. responded by deploying 2 carrier strike groups to the Indo-Pacific in the immediate aftermath. That repositioning is the first visible thread of the Pentagon's internal response, but it is only the surface layer of what was ordered. Those 4 amphibious assault ships parked east of Taiwan, the exact corridor a U.S. carrier group would enter first. Is that a rehearsal for blockade or a direct warning to Washington? Drop your answer in the comments below, because what the Pentagon did internally in the hours after those ships moved is where this gets significantly more alarming. What those 2 carrier strike groups repositioning to the Indo-Pacific represent is only the visible layer. What happened beneath it is where the Pentagon's internal calculus becomes genuinely alarming. Unnamed U.S. defense officials, speaking in the days after Justice Mission 2025, described the internal alert posture shift as the most significant readiness adjustment in the Indo-Pacific theater in over 2 decades. Specific assets were moved. Response timelines were compressed. The public posture stayed measured. The private posture did not. That gap between what officials said at the podium and what they ordered in classified channels is itself a signal. Governments do not quietly restructure readiness postures over exercises they consider routine. Now consider what a formal Chinese blockade of the port's Justice Mission 2025, explicitly named as drill targets, would actually trigger. A credible blockade halts Taiwan's semiconductor supply within days. Under the Taiwan Relations Act, that blockade compresses the U.S. treaty decision window, not to weeks, but to hours. Allied response timelines in Japan and the Philippines compress alongside it. The cascade does not build slowly, it accelerates. And yet the honest analysis demands the counterargument be stated plainly. Chinese leaders view the PLA's capabilities for a Taiwan campaign as improving, but they remain uncertain about its readiness to successfully seize the island while countering potential U.S. involvement. Amphibious operations remain among the most difficult military operations to conduct, and the 2025 exercise still occurred under favorable sea and weather conditions. Economic interdependence costs remain real. A blockade punishes Beijing's own supply chains alongside everyone else's. But here's what the Pentagon's internal response actually tells us. Not what officials say publicly, but what the readiness orders reveal. Decision-makers do not move carrier groups and restructure alert postures because they think a rival is bluffing. Despite leadership purges and ongoing disciplinary investigations, China continues to make progress towards Xi Jinping's 2027 warfighting goal, with the PLA undergoing simultaneous disruption and advancement, oriented toward coercion and potential warfighting against Taiwan and U.S. intervention forces. The tripwires established by Justice Mission 2025 are already in place. The next move belongs entirely to Beijing. Subscribe for more as we track this and other global flashpoints and dive into our full breakdown of China's amphibious assault capabilities right here.